Well, hello, my Strathroy Rotarians. This is Rotarian Johan or Johnny, and I'm coming to you with our second video in the series for the Top 10 Digital Productivity Challenge. The previous video was for our club's YouTube channel, and by the way, it was really good to see how many people viewed that video and how many people signed up for the notifications. So, all those that hit the notifications button, you should be seeing an automatic notification in your YouTube account or in your Gmail when this video gets uploaded. So, how awesome is that? All right, now on to this video, number two, an introduction to Google Calendar. This is only an introduction, and I'm going to try to do a very high level flyby because it can get pretty comprehensive depending how deep you want to dig into it. If you want a second, more comprehensive video, advanced video, or you've got questions, or you want me to do a quick demo in the club, just let me know. I'd be happy to help out. I think the first question is, why Google Calendar? And for me, there's two main reasons for it. The first, that it is not restricted. It doesn't lock you into a particular website or platform. Your data is more portable in a Google Calendar. And the second reason is that if you're going to pick a calendaring system or a system for getting organized, Google's Calendar is going to be it. It'll help you organize your personal life, your family life, your professional and business life, and of course, it's going to help organize things here with us Rotarians in the Rotary Club of Strathroy. The things that make it really attractive, though, are it is a powerful platform. So the power users and the nerds are going to love it. That once you get underneath the hood a little bit, you're going to see there's lots of options and features that are going to really wow you. And for sharing is the sharing side of things is awesome because Google Calendar has the highest number of active users, so more people see it. A Google Calendar can be shared with just about every other calendar platform out there, as well as you can take almost any other calendar and add it to your Google Calendar. And you can also sync between the web version of Google and your Android or iPhone, which is really super slick. Plus, I mean, there's countless apps you can download from the the Google Play Store for Android apps that all sync with Google Calendar. Like Google Calendar is a substantial program. It's you're going to see. I'm going to do a quick demo now of the features of Google Video because I think that's the best way to give you a bit of a demonstration of that. So, without further ado, the two ways that people probably get to the Google Calendar is the first one is they're going to open up their Gmail account. That's what most people do. And they're going to click on this Google Apps icon in the top right here. There's like 9 dots, kind of like a Rubik's Cube. If you click on that, that gives you a lot of the most popular Google applications here, all the shortcuts to the various applications. So from here, we can click on Calendar, and it's going to open up Google Calendar. The way that I like to do it, however, is I'll actually go in and I'll type the address or even skip that. You just go calendar.google.com, and just typing in that address will also bring you to Google Calendar. So that's a little bit quicker. Lots of ways to skin the cat. All right, let's take a quick overview of the calendar homepage here, the main page. And on the left, there's a main menu button here. If you click on the main menu button, I don't know if I, yeah. There's a sidebar here that has lots of features. There's a date picker here that you can pick different dates. You can even pick multiple dates if you click and slide. And you'll see the main calendar area here will automatically update according to which dates you've picked here in the date picker. Also, Google Calendar is not just a single calendar, it's a collection of calendars. So you can, I was just doing a little test here earlier. You can create all the calendars that you want. I'm just going to quickly remove a test calendar that I made. You can create all the calendars that you want. Like you could put hundreds of calendars in here if you had enough time, but good luck trying to use it after putting so many calendars in. But you can do it. Now there are two sections or two headings here: My Calendars, and down further below there's Other Calendars. I'm just going to remove a couple more calendars here. So My Calendars are the calendars that you create in your account. And because I'm signed in here with the main Rotary account, that's why this is the account that the Strathroy Rotary calendars were created in. So from this account, they're showing up under My Calendars. But I also, anyone that's got a Google or a Gmail address, I shared those calendars with you. And for you, they should be showing up under Other Calendars. Multiple calendars like this are great if you want to keep separate calendars for separate parts of your life, like maybe there's one for work, one for home, one for Rotary, etc. And you can decide which events you want to put on which calendar. And then each calendar can be set up with all their own options. Okay, now I like to have lots of calendar space here, so I'm going to click on the main menu button here, and that's going to fold up this sidebar here. Notice that this create button here, after I click on the main menu button, that still stays there. So that create button is where you go to create new events. And of course, there's always more than one way to skin a cat, so you can also click anywhere on the calendar, and that's going to bring up the create new event dialog box as well. We're going to, with that main menu closed and the date picker gone, you can now use this date over here. There's a little arrow here, and if you click on that, there's a quick date picker over here too. So in practice, I find it easiest myself to keep that sidebar closed and use this data up here as the date picker tool. There is a search button here if you want to search for items in any of the calendars. There's a support button here for help. There's this cog here for changing the calendar settings. And there is this view option here. So it's on for 4 days right now. We can change the view to daily. We can change the view to schedule, which just has all the items one right after the other. My favorite view is 2 weeks, and I like that because all the timed items show up one after the other near the top. They don't get all shoved down to the bottom. And it's pretty compact, and you get to see a nice amount of time here. 2 weeks is a nice amount. 1 week would be better, but this 2 week option is pretty good. Okay, on the right here, you may notice on your Google Calendar that there's a side panel on the right here. This is for adding add-ons, so other applications that will further extend the features of Google Calendar. You click on this plus button here, and it'll take you to a page that you can add more functionality, more apps that integrate with Google Calendar. So now that we've had an overview of the main calendar interface, let's go ahead and add, first we'll add a calendar, and then we'll add an event. Two ways to get to the settings. The first is this cog over here. And if you click on this cog, go to settings. On the settings page here in the left column, all the top items are general settings for the calendar. There's a lot of pretty cool settings in there, but they're beyond the scope of this video. So that's something that you can play around with later and check out. As you go below the main settings, there's one here called Add Calendar, so you can add a new calendar. Import and export's a little more technical. I'm going to skip that for now. And then you got a listing of all the calendars that you've added to your Google Calendar account, and you can modify the settings for any of those calendars, which is what we're going to do. But first, we're going to add a new calendar. Just real quick, you can browse this. Not only can you add your own calendar, but you can add a calendar from somebody else. If you click on Browse Calendars of Interest, there are a whole bunch of prefabricated, if we can call it, pre-built calendars that you can add to your calendar. For example, Christian holidays. Maybe you want basketball, NBA, Toronto Raptors. You're a fan of the Toronto Raptors, so you can have their schedule and all their related information added. There's phases of the moon if you like stargazing. So there's 3 calendars. There's a whole bunch of holiday calendars that you can add, and just some other kind of cool calendars in here that you can add. You'll notice that in the left column here, those 3 calendars are now added under settings for other calendars. And other calendars, because they're not calendars that we've created, they're just calendars from somebody else that we've added to our Google Calendar. All right, now let's actually create one of our own calendars. So we're going to go up here again. Where is the create new calendar? Let's call it test cal for a test calendar. And a description. The description is good because, especially if you share it with somebody, because then it'll describe what the purpose of that calendar is for. Some people have so many calendars, it's hard to remember what each calendar is for. And then you're going to go ahead and click on Create Calendar. And it's going to take, sometimes it takes a minute for that calendar to actually be created. And once it's created, it's going to show up in the left column here, and it's going to show up under My Calendars, settings for My Calendars. Any moment, there it is, successfully created. Do I have to refresh this? It's going to refresh that page to get that. There we go. Test cal showing. Now, if we click on test cal under settings for test cal, we can go through and change more settings on this calendar. I'm going to skip over the more advanced stuff. Ignore this, make available for Strathroy Rotary. But this one here, make available to the public, is important. By default, when you create a new calendar, the calendar is going to be private. and that means no one's going to be able to see it even if you share the link. So if you want anybody and everybody to see the calendar, you're going to want to click on this make available to the public option. And voila, you see a warning that uh, our public calendar, that making our public calendar, by making our calendar public, will make all events visible to the world. Are you sure? And yes. There's another level of privacy here. See all event details, or just see the free busy details. And if you select see only free busy, um, and you share the calendar, then others will only see the title of the calendar. Sorry, others will only see the title of the events, and they won't see the details of the events. One thing to keep in mind here is that we're talking about access permissions, and further down here we're going to talk about notifications. So these the access and the notifications, this is at a calendar level. So at the calendar level, it sets the default for all the events that you're going to add to the calendars. So when you first add an event to a calendar, that event is going to pick up the default settings that you set here, but you will be able to further customize each event to its own individual setting if it doesn't suit. So, okay, get shareable link. Let's skip that. If you want to share this calendar with specific people, you can add the people here to the calendar that you want to send it to. And if you do that, this calendar will be automatically added to that person's calendar. And that person will also get an email informing them that the calendar has been added to their Google Calendar. Okay, getting to more interesting stuff here. You got event notifications and all-day event notifications. So the difference is event notifications are the default notifications for timed events. So a timed event has like a start and an end time, maybe from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. would be an example, where an all-day event is all day, like all day Tuesday. Now, if we add an event notification, there's two types of event notifications. One is called notification, and notification is like a pop-up message. It'll pop up either in Windows, with the Windows notification, or it'll pop up inside of the browser itself as a browser pop-up notification. It depends on which browser and operating system that you're using, but it's notifications is basically a pop-up notification. The other type you can add is an email notification, and that will send an email out in advance of the event. So it could be 10, 9, 8, whatever minutes, hours, days, whatever you want to set it to. And then you can add up to 5 notifications. All day event notifications, the difference with that is it's going to ask you how many days before the event and what time. So if you want it just the day before the event, it would be 1 day before the event. And then say if you want it at 9 a.m. the day before, so then we'll add that event, and there will be a pop-up notification the day before at 9 a.m. And those notifications become the default to any events added to this test cal. But remember that the individual events can still be changed anyways, and the event notifications supersede the calendar notifications. Okay, these notifications here are kind of cool, and I would recommend that you turn them all on for the Rotary calendars. There's two Rotary calendars, the private calendar and the public calendar. And the first general notification will send you an email when a new event is created on that calendar. Similarly, changed events notification will send you an email if the event is changed, canceled if an event is canceled or deleted, event responses if a guest responds to an event, and a daily agenda. If you have a daily agenda turned on for any of the calendars, you will receive an email approximately 7 a.m. and on that email we'll have a summary of all the events for the calendars that you have this notification turned on for. Okay, earlier I was talking about sharing calendars, Google calendars with other calendaring platforms and other calendars with Google, putting them onto your Google Calendar. And the way that you do that is by one of these addresses here. There's a whole bunch of addresses. The first one here is a public URL. The next one is an iframe. An iframe will stick a calendar into a web page. For example, you go to the StrathroyRotary.com page here, and you can see, you can see this calendar here is inserted into the web page. So that is this bit of embed code here. That's what you use that for. If you have a Hotmail, Microsoft, Outlook account, this is the address that you need right here, this public address in iCal format. And the way that works is you copy that public address in iCal format. And we're going to go to an Outlook account here. We're going to go to Import Calendar. And then we're going to go down to From Web. Click on From Web. And then here on the right where it says Link to Calendar, we're going to paste that address in. Under calendar name, we'll give it a name like Rotary Cal. And then we'll click on Import. And it will add that calendar to your Outlook calendar. Now, nothing is showing up here because we added the test cal. So if we go back to these calendar settings, see we're changing all the settings for the test cal, but we could go to, for example, the Strathroy Rotary Public Calendar settings, go down to, notice how I added everyone to the sharing here. So everybody on this list should have the Strathroy Rotary Public Calendar already added to their Google Calendar account. General notifications integrate. Here we're getting close. Public address in iCal format. So we're going to copy that, go back to our Outlook account, import calendar from the web, paste the link in, and this is the Rotary Public calendar. So we're going to import that. And now you'll see that it's added all the Rotary Public calendar events to your Outlook calendar. Kind of cool, especially when you are using Outlook as your primary calendar and not Google Calendar. Okay, the only downside is that you cannot update events this way. From an iCal link, you can't update any of those events, which is unfortunate. Okay, let's close up Outlook. Go back to our Rotary calendar. FYI, this next iCal address down here is secret address in iCal format. Because the Strathroy Rotary private calendar is private, it's not shared by default. What you can do is take this secret iCal address, and this is an address that you can give out to very specific people that you trust, um, and let them see your secret or your private calendar. So, for those that have um, an Outlook account, this is the address that you're going to want to use in order to import that Strathroy Rotary private calendar into your Outlook calendar. Okay, enough with the calendar settings. Let's go back to the home page here. Let's create a new event. So you can use this plus button here on the left to create an event, or you can click and drag. You can click on one day, or click across 3 days, create a 3-day event, and a test 3-day event. There's different types of events that you can add here, and I'll let you learn what those are. That's more advanced. But I will mention that appointment slots are pretty cool because, for example, the blood donor clinic or the car show or whatever, you can create an event that has time slots that members can go in and put their names in and sign up for the various time slots. So that's pretty cool. Um, Here for the date, you can see the date is already selected from where you clicked and dragged across the calendar. You can, on add time, you can add a start and end time. You can add guests. Um, you can add a location. For example, let's say we're going to have this party under the big red roof, 24667. Oh, hey, actually, let's search for it this way. Johann brand source. And you see how all this data is showing up from Google Maps. Pretty cool, eh? So I'll click on Johann's brand source. It'll pre-populate that with the address and everything. Conferencing, you can click on this and set this up for a video conferencing, so that any guests can easily video conference with each other. You can add more description. And one of the nice features that was added recently by Google was the ability to take some text and you can bold it, italicize it, underline it. You can add bullets or numbers or a hyperlink. And you can also, one more thing here, we'll pick which calendar. Let's say we're going to add this to the Rotary test calendar. And then there's more options here. If you click on the more options, it's going to open up the settings into a full page here with a few more options that you can add. Anyways, as per the guest, you can add guests to your event. That's enough guests. So we've added 3 guests here, and you can tell the guests what they have permission to do. You know, whether the guests can modify events, invite other people to the event. And when we're done with that, we're going to click on Save. Oh, here's one other cool thing here. This little Add Attachment icon here. If you click on that Add Attachment, you can add a file from your Google Drive, or you can upload a file and attach it to the event, which is really cool. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And all the guests that have been added here, they're going to get an email notification that they've been invited to that event. You can also, as far as the guests goes, in a couple of places here in the event, you're going to see like a little mail email icon. And if you click on that, you're going to automatically open up a box where you can send an email to all the guests on this event at the same time. So that's kind of cool. All right, that is adding events. Now, did I mention? Here's the notifications in here again, and this is where they picked up the default notification that you set in the calendar settings, but you can change them here on an event level as well too. And then these event level notifications will override what the default calendar notifications were. I believe that is it. That's I think that's we chewed off a lot there. If you got questions, please shoot. I want to give you your challenge. This is a 10-day productivity challenge, by the way. So your challenge is to please log into your Google account and add some test items and see how that works. Get used to it. And once you've done a couple of those, go ahead and add any items that are missing from the Strathroy Rotary Public calendar. Please go ahead and add missing items so that we have a nice, current, up-to-date Strathroy Rotary calendar that's going to communicate all our club information wonderfully to each other and to the public. That's it. So only two challenges. Create a couple of test events just so you get familiar with it, and then go ahead and please start adding all the Strathroy Rotary events to the Strathroy Rotary Public calendar. I noticed there was already a couple of people that have been adding and editing some events already, so thank you very much, and thank you for attending this webinar, and please shoot me any questions that you may have. Have a great day.